Hello, Latin 2. So the last part of the accusative plus infinitive indirect statements is taking a look at what happens when your infinitive is in the future tense, okay? So just like before, I'm going to review the accusative plus infinitive indirect statements, okay? First off, the main verb sets the tone. So whatever tense that verb is, the infinitive is dancing around it. The infinitive is responding to it. It's either occurring before it, during it, or after it, okay? Two, in an indirect statement, the subject of the indirect statement is in the accusative case, and I've highlighted them in red for this particular exercise. Number three, the verb of the indirect statement is always going to be the infinitive, okay? Now, the fourth thing, and that's kind of the point of these three videos, is that the infinitive tense absolutely matters, okay? The perfect tense is going to occur before the main verb. The present tense is going to happen at the same time as the main verb, and the future tense will happen after the main verb. And you saw that in the previous videos, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I am going to make sure that I have some good exercises for you to do that will help you a lot with learning all of these. So, the future tense, okay? It's probably the oddest looking infinitive there is because it's participle. It's often a participle that you have to construct, plus the form of essay. And a lot of people will leave that essay out, which if you were an ancient Roman historian, I'd say go for it, but you're not, so you don't get to. All right, so sextus scit Corneliam amicam eius necaturam esse. Now, there's something I want to point out to you with that we haven't had to worry about so far. Because it's a participle, and participles are essentially adjectives, right? They're verbs acting like adjectives. It has to match the noun that it modifies in number, case, and gender. Well, since the noun that it modifies is the subject of an indirect statement, it's going to be accusative, which means this will always be accusative. And it will match the gender, this is feminine, that's feminine. And it will match the number, this is singular, that's singular, okay? So sextus scit Corneliam amicam eius necaturam esse. The necaturam is not matching amicam, it's matching Corneliam. Sextus knows that Cornelia will kill a friend of her. Now, next year I'll let you use good English, but right now that's how you have to translate that. More importantly, though, notice that necaturam esse is a future infinitive. Therefore, that future infinitive is going to occur after the main verb. Sextus knows, which is in the present tense. Therefore, necaturam esse has to be in the future of that, okay? You'll probably never go wrong by putting it in the future tense no matter what, but it does kind of matter when you get into other things. Now, I decided to use a future perfect down here. Sextus sciverit Corneliam amicam eius necaturam esse. You still have the same matching that you had before, okay? And that's one of the ways that you can tell who the subject of your indirect statement is. So, sextus sciverit, that's future perfect. So, sextus will have known that Cornelia will kill a friend of her. Now, will kill still happens after the will have known because the future perfect is the future before the future. Now, if I had skiet, sorry, I was going to go into the subjunctive for a second. If I had skiet, that would be the future, and this would just be the future of the future, and the future of the future is just the future, right? So Sextus will know that Cornelia will kill a friend of her, and that's totally acceptable. And next year, you're so close to next year anyway, I would give you a chance to have good English, and you don't have to worry about it. Right now, though, you need to make sure you include the word that in every indirect statement that you use. And you need to make sure that your tense that you're using of the infinitive is going to occur after the main verb if it's in the future, during the main verb if it's in the present, before the main verb if it's in the past, okay, or if it's in the perfect, okay? Now, assignments to do to help reinforce this, I strongly recommend you take a look at 48B. There's only 3 of them. Also, 48C is pretty good because it does deal with all the different kinds of infinitives. And remember, you translate infinitives with the voice that they're in too. So if it's passive, translate it passive. If it's active, translate it active. and just recognize, you know, if you do your infinitive trees and that have that right next to you, that usually helps quite a lot. So 48C is a decent exercise for that, but honestly 48B drills down harder. So does 48H. And I recommended that before, but I really strongly recommend 48H and 48I. So if you do those, you're going to be in pretty good shape for using the future tense infinitives. And by that point, hopefully, you'll have worked with the accusative plus infinitive indirect statements so much so that it will be easier for you. All right, so please send me any work that you do so that I can give you the feedback. Other than that, I think I'm just going to hit the button.